this year is going to be quite interesting. There are a number of key events that are lined up. It's a busy year, exciting year, and also reflecting from last year's run with AFSF, the Africa Food Systems Forum, and the number of key platforms. What I find interesting is the fact that now we're seeing the way how food systems is evolving, looking at different challenges from climate, the growing demands, etc. And then the need to advance collaboration. But all of this, again, speaks to the way how we come together, band together, and put this incredible show. And for me, I must say, one thing that really excites me is the electric energy that the teams put forward in putting up this program, collaborating not just within the team, but also going beyond that. And then key element is, bringing out key complex ideas and making it tangible. I don't know about you guys, but for me, that really excites me. And, I look forward to the next run.
Yeah, I agree with that, because appreciating the different diverse audiences in every conference. So you have to be really, what can I say, attractive, or you have to be palatable to the farmer, to the scientist, to the academia. So I think being part of that process of creating something technical to tangible to accommodative, that's a very good part of the programming, I think, for me. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's what's really special about being part of the program team, that we get to come across a lot of collaborators and partners that are so passionate, and they work throughout many weeks and months to deliver something that they can see in person. And I think when we're all there in person and we get to see everyone's hard work, all like culminating to that moment, it's really special.
It seems so easy, huh? You just talked about how people come together and collaborate, not knowing there's a big machinery behind the scene putting this together. And for me, the exciting part and the complexity is that, one, it's just a programming team that you get to see. Yeah. And also within the programming, it's just one or two. But that machinery is huge. I mean, like, for example, Maddie, I don't know how many technical bits that you would be running, Steve, with the forums and the ministerials. I mean, it looks light from, forward facing, but behind the scene,
yeah,
it's a big machinery.
I agree. Like, you can see somebody just behind with a microphone, but not knowing that has delivering an experience, that you are in a forum or focus group just like this and starting to see from an Excel sheet, from one part of an Excel sheet, but different teams came together. So whenever you see us at the last mile, just making sure that after all these years, after all these months, actually in terms of it's months, you do not want the sound to be the last thing that is messing it up, Yeah. So I believe that is one of the key things that I really am excited to see, that till the last drop of the moment, when that session is closed, you look back and you see all the LOC meetings, the local organizing committee meetings, the people who have been part of this, the government collaborations. You just feel a relief of a lot of people coming together to seeing who have been part of. Some of them who are not even in the room, and it is just an amazing part and an experience to be part of the programs team.
Yeah. Because I used to be on the other side. So I used to be an attendee and applying to have a side event and being on that side of things. And now that I'm on the program side of things, I realize that everything that made my experience great and enabled me to have a successful side event meant that we also had to find a slot in the program, and then even like down to, is it hot in the room? Do we need air conditioning? Is the stage safe? How many seats do we need? Even things like that. So shout out to all the teams that keep those spaces safe and clean, and all those organizing little logistical bits that go into it. Can people register for the event? How do they get from the airport to their accommodation? Like all of that.
Yeah, it's quite a complex bit. So what I'm finding interesting, so Maddie, you just mentioned you have seen the process as an attendee. Now you are behind the scene, literally behind the scene, seeing this all together. But there's a third component where you could be a side event organizer as well. And trying to marry the three is something else. And for me, I think that's one thing I pray and hope and wish that as an attendee, you walk out feeling really satisfied at any given platform. So we have your high-level plenary sessions, from your presidential to your youth, etc. We have your high-level stake roundtables, very complex with negotiations and dialogues, etc. But core is the side events and the special events. And that for me is an interesting piece, because as much as we provide a platform for partners to come and share and showcase their work and invite delegates to go through that process, the complexity is making sure, as you mentioned, the platform is right. I'm inviting you to showcase, and you are curating your program, but does your program also fit within the larger program theme and focus?
Yeah. And for me, I'll say that one of the key things that I will, champion for attendees is to really look into that program and what buffet has been set out for you. And, one of the questions people come and ask me, oh, you're organizing this event. What are the things that we should be really looking forward to? And to me, is that buffet of not just plenary. There's so many other things which are part and parcel of the conferences, and so it's easy, just to really look into that whole entire calendar of events and say this is good, and I think we were discussing this with you, Lufingo, the other time that we were saying there's some key people that we have seen really benefiting a lot from some of this. And a shout out that I can say is one of the guys who came and asked me, can I see who are speaking in these events? And it's interesting that they started reaching out to them early in advance. So when we put out the list of the people who are speaking, there are some attendees who really take advantage of that and start looking, the profiling. This person will be speaking and making contact, so that the entire experience of that conference, they take advantage of day one to the last day. And I found that very interesting and intriguing, so that you maximize on the conference, by the side events, by attending this, by attending side coffee events, Yeah. So what are some of the things that you feel like as an attendee, you've given us the glimpse that you're an attendee. What are some of the experiences that you can tell attendees take advantage of this?
I have two things. I think one thing is definitely take a look at the program as a whole, because the program is not just like the blocks of sessions that you see and the speakers, but also the times in between. It's a little flexible. And I think like you can look at the program as an attendee and curate it, like what you said, based on your interests. And so if you know that there's someone who works with an organization or a sector that you're really interested about, attend their sessions. if they have a Q&A, be bold and brave and ask your question and put yourself out there, and then reach out to them after and catch them in the margins of the program. And I think the second thing is, as people who go to a lot of these conferences year after year, I think the most exciting thing for an attendee who is used to going to all these conferences is seeing a program and seeing new sessions, especially sessions that build on the discussions of previous years. For example, the livestock ministerial deep dive that happened at Africa Food Systems Forum this past year in Senegal. I think that built on the work of previous years of a lot of advocates and people trying to get livestock in the main program and like take the stage as a big part of Africa Food Systems, and to like finally see like a dedicated roundtable for that was really exciting and really special. And so I would look forward in future years how to build on that discussion.
And we had livestock in Senegal.
We did.
They did bring livestock to the ground.
The biggest goats I've ever seen.
These things are this big. You're saying something.
One thing, and I like where you're heading. So, Steve, you talked about how each platform or each forum becomes very innovative and exciting. Maddie, you're talking about from an attendee point of view, but one element that sparked is year in, year out, you'd find at times the same attendee. But I'm eager to hear, like, so what is so different? In a given year, you might have like 3-4 dialogues or forums on food systems. And I'm finding what's very interesting on our end, one unique spark is the fact that we're able to infuse local or the host cultural elements into the program. You talked about the livestock and the biggest goats in Dakar. That's very, very unique. Infusing that cultural context in the program and showcasing, coming out, making sure that we walk out of the host with something tangible and leaving a legacy of that forum. I think that's very, very unique. And going forward, every forum, I think that should be the key spark. We'll go in forum after forum, and some of these dialogues and some of the processes that are dialogued resonates from forum to forum. But what is so unique and that hits that spark? Talked about new sessions, but that cultural thing that you walk out 5 years from now, you was like, I remember Dakar. I saw them, the goats and everything,
And we have tried as much as possible, and this we get from the blessings of the host countries to be that flexible. I remember in Dar es Salaam they did the tours, So I think those are some of the things that we are, privileged to work with host governments, and they really are now wanting to embrace the local context in the free days for going out there. I remember even the ACAT that the government really wanted even to bring in the showcase of the agricultural show alongside ACAT in Kigali. So we are saying that there's conference tourism being a really interesting part and parcel of conferences, and the privilege that we are having working with host governments to integrate the showcase of cultural inclusion in the conferencing, which is a big pull. Yeah.
So how do I take advantage of such forums, and what opportunities should I look out for? I enjoyed such forums because of the networking opportunity. FSF again is one big marker because it's the premier conference on food systems on the continent, with over 10,000 attendees, and the opportunity for me to network and just build and expand my reach is amazing. For me, that would be my biggest tick, and as an attendee, I think that's the biggest opportunity for me to take advantage of.
I think reflecting on last year's conferences, one of the biggest things that really stuck out to me, and if we're going to talk about culture, it was the way youth showed up. If you're talking about culture, we have to bring up youth. And one thing that I think really stuck out with me was the S-Data, the strategic dialogue with youth at ACAT, and how that really provided a space for youth to be honest, to plead their cases, to ask for things in a way that hasn't existed before. And so as we're moving forward, I think as an attendee, and also aligned with country priorities and their priorities being youth, to look out for the youth pitches, for the youth dialogues, for spaces that are special to them, and see not only can we create these spaces, but continue to integrate them into the program, is something to look out for as an attendee, and to keep vouching for them, right? Not just to bring up individuals that champion youth or pastoralists to these conferences, for them to talk at conferences, but also check in on how they're doing in between the conferences as well.
A fruit of working through this AFSF from years past to ACAT, something that I've seen becoming fruitful is the type of exhibitions that we have seen. When you go into the exhibition spaces, back in the day, it was majorly, government institutions, the CalROs and all these other things. But moving into the exhibition areas, you're finding startups with products. Those are some of the interesting wins that you see, that from a time it was maybe NGOs, government institutions, or big players, CBOs doing exhibitions. But right now you can go in and you can find a youth group, having an exhibition that they are selling their products, having a whole cooperative around it.
Yeah. No, I like that, because for me, you talked about pitches, you talked about startups. And for me, that's one opportunity, a learning opportunity. There are multiple youth that are out there, or startups that are pitching. And there are a lot of matchmaking opportunities, etc. But me as a startup, where else do I get to learn how certain projects are being pitched for investments, etc.? And just getting into a room and hearing, listening, and studying the way how a certain pitch is being made, and that connection to other partners, etc., takes multiple.
Where was it? Was it in Rwanda? We had in ACAT, we had a deal room type of lion's den, argument that, to your point, they actually come in and you have investors in the room, and they pitched, and after that, the client was able to just handpick these ideas. And I remember the Minister of Agriculture was there, and it took a new turn. So there's a place where they bring these people together. And those are the opportunities that we find some of these events become experiential and life-changing to some of the people who come in, and things just change.
Ideas marketplace.
Yeah, that's a good word.
Yeah,
Ideas market.
the ideas market.
Pointing it down. Ideas.
The ideas marketplace is,
Market.
showcasing your innovation, but at the same time getting a space to retail and market your.
Exactly.
So watch out for this in one of the programs, Ideas Marketplace. That is amazing. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Exactly. So if you're a new founder of a startup, going to these conferences would be a good chance for you to get to see who's in the room, who's might invest, and look at other startup founders, their pitches, and learn how you can pitch, how to be successful, how to exhibit, things like that. If you are a startup founder, or you have your own innovation and you are pitching, you get to be in a room that has government, representation, private sector, people who are ready to invest. That's really exciting. You get to have those in-person conversations and do those deals. And I think if you are government or you are private sector, policymaker, decision maker, then it's really important for you to come and see all these opportunities and these young people and these founders and these business leaders who want to make a difference and want to make an impact and realize like, oh, what can I do from my side in the policy to make an enabling environment so that they can get investments, they can get loans, they can like really put their product out there on the market in a way that makes a difference, not just innovate, but also scale.
So, Maddie, you've done CG Science Week, you've done ACAT, you've done FSF. And I'm going to also try to get that out from you as well, Steve. Your highlights, just one highlight from, yeah. I mean, I have my highlights, but you know, I'll give
highlights during the process or
I think during the process across or at the forum. I'll give you one example. Like for me, in Dakar when we had FSF, my highlight was getting to see in the youth dome, getting to see the Moderator John up front with the minister dancing and just, you know, getting the youth all up and into the groove and into the system. That was, for me, that was my major highlight. And it sort of set the tone for that week, actually. I don't know about you guys, but that was a nice highlight for me.
Well, I'm a huge basketball fan, so I also like that youth dome opening ceremony. But I think, let me think. So throughout the whole process, I've really enjoyed, and I love to learn and I love processes. So I've really enjoyed like meeting with everyone and then kind of organizing a puzzle that like results in the program and dealing with everyone's like wants and compromises and requests and just like fitting that all in. And I think, in the way that exemplified itself at AFSF was the success of the thematic sessions and the rooms being packed, and that the thematic platforms themselves each created their own call to action. Right. And I think that was a really exciting, powerful moment for me to see, because they wanted this collaboration to continue through AFSF. And then for CG Science Week, I think it was just really exciting to highlight science and the power of research, and that it is important and that you do need evidence to make impact, and to have all those people celebrating science is really exciting. And then, for ACAT, I think I already said my highlight, but it was the youth S data. It was that like in the room with like all those youth being like, invest in not like me as a persona who goes to conferences, but me as a business owner, as a farmer, being able to have those honest conversations in a space that felt safe in front of people that can make things better and like can invest in them. So that was very exciting.
So my highlight goes in pre-conference. A highlight is when I just see confirmations, speaker confirmations. I think that it's always a good relief just when speakers block their calendars early, and you just see all confirmed. So a session is done and dusted, approved. That is good. So you now go into the run-out show, and it's always enjoyable. So confirmations, early confirmations, that's a plus. Other highlights that I have in sessions is when, let's talk about something like ACAT, when the government really brought together the private stakeholders together. I saw that was such a big commitment that the minister, through the Prime Minister's office, just called in all the players, you know, and said, we're doing this based on the theme. We're doing this for the youth. And within a week, the commitments that were poured, Like you see an organization saying, I'll support 100 youth, waiver their fees, you know? That's just the collaborative nature and the power of positive influence. You know, that was a good highlight, that you can see that people are coming together, and within a week we had all this sorted. They gave in, they sponsored, you know, and it's not that they were not before, but you can just see the unity and uniformity of purpose. So that was good. And as always, you know, Dakar, Senegal, I think for me it was just to really embrace the culture, what you talked about, a highlight of the culture, teranga. You know, it was everywhere, from the people to the vibes. So those were my highlights across like last year. So pre is just getting a lot of us. We got our highlights into the speakers were good, the collaboration with LOC, the local organizing committees, and now the execution with the culture, and just face that.
If you allow me, I just want to throw in a big shout out to a very diligent team. I know we touched on this, but a very diligent team from programming across the board to logistics, communications, etc. It's not easy, you know, cross-cutting different teams from different institutions, etc. But also what's exciting is as we build the program of any given forum, Steve, you talked about the host. There's the local organizing committee. You've got that dynamics, dealing with the host and state house, protocol issues, partnerships, etc. There's also the sponsors of the forum, you know, and making sure that we align with all these priorities. And at the end of that week, walking out feeling like, yeah, we've delivered. That's a huge.
I'll remind you.
Yeah.
Not walking.
Yeah.
At the end of the week, we
are crawling.
We are crawling. That's truth be told, Bingo.
No, but I am just truly appreciative of the team effort, the diligent work that's put into it. It's a nice, sweet feel at the end, knowing that the team is 300% behind this product, and the product comes out fine. So that's a big shout out.
I think it's that moment when all of like the praise and the thank yous come flooding in. And
that's a huge highlight.
And you just know that like we all like put it all out there. Like we left out everything. And that like people see us and see all the work that we do. And like we also extend our thanks and gratitude to everyone we worked with, and all the cheers, and like I think the team praise, like the pride that you feel for our teammates, for everyone we worked with, and just like that we did it and we like, you know, left no crumbs.
No, Marty, that is a tear right there. When clients send thank yous, you know? Oh man, I remember in our team WhatsApp group, you know, when our different team members receive thank yous and they flood it on our group and say this and this, thank you so much for what you've done. Man, that is, it takes you back.
No, that's true. I totally agree. And do you know why? Because I honestly believe, as emerging, we're not necessarily putting forward a forum or an event. It's not just an event. It's literally a catalyst for transformation. And I want to strongly believe, as a team, we believe that whatever forum that we put forward and we support, we are moving forward the food systems agenda, making sure that there is genuine and true transformation. The challenges are real, and we must move the needle forward to make sure that we are getting forward in addressing those challenges. So I truly believe, yes, whatever forum, it's not just an event. We are catalyzing and moving forward this transformation agenda, and I am truly grateful. I'm happy to be amongst the greatest
And it shows itself too, because with the thank yous also comes, hey, we're working on this thing. We really love the way you communicated this topic. Would you? And then you're like, oh, like we are like literally pushing this conversation forward through like people loving the way that we communicate topics, who we reach, the messaging, the storytelling, all of that.